Heather. So this video is kind of a retrospective of the whole T-Series versus PewDiePie thing. I'm dividing this video into three parts. Surprising, I know. But yeah, number one, my experiences with the whole war. Two, how it all happened, and three, how it affected the world. So, number one, my experiences with the whole war. And let me tell you some sticky history. I'm a relatively new 19-year-old. Oh God, Copa is coming. I started watching PewDiePie sometime in the late 2017. I can't really remember the exact date, but it was a couple months before anyone gave attention to T-Series. And at the time, I remember watching a video. I can't remember the video itself, but the title was something like "This channel could take over PewDiePie," and it showed a picture of T-Series or something like that. And when I think of it now, it's kind of ironic because I thought at the time that yeah, right, like anyone could take PewDiePie's number one position. And it was kind of logical because it was the status quo that PewDiePie was number one. I mean, how could he not be? But things change. Oh, how young and stupid I was then. Come to think of it, it did happen only 2 years ago, so I am still quite young. And kinda stupid too. Anyway, back to the video. When T-Series started to get really close to PewDiePie, to like 67 million subscribers, and Pewds had 68 million subscribers, it seems kinda hopeless. Especially because it was the end of Pewds' dark age. So, when everything seemed kinda hopeless, and PewDiePie really didn't care either because he made a video saying that this was probably the last milestone before T-Series overtakes him. And yeah, everything seemed hopeless. Until Mr. Beast. Or Jimmy, but it doesn't really matter what you call him. But anyway, he made a video where he advertised PewDiePie with the catchphrase "sub to Pewds," and this became a massive meme. The whole internet were on it, defending Pewds' number one position from T-Series. And personally, I don't think Mr. Beast had that big of an impact. Yes, he did a massive impact, but his was more the spark that lighted the fire than the fire itself. And that idea of supporting PewDiePie was a part of every student in my school. And no matter how different two people were, uh, they could all be in common agreement of the fact that PewDiePie has to be defended. And that just made such a great community. I mean, a feeling of community, and that I have never really felt before in my life. And it gave me a lot of new friends. It did. And now that it's gone, I don't know. It's depressing in a way, and I feel I feel more lonely than I have ever felt before in my life. I was there from the very beginning, from the hopeless beginning to the grand middle point to the somber end, and now that it's gone, I do miss it. I do. I do really miss it. But enough about me. Let's get to the point of the video. In number two. So yeah, how it all happened. And I talked a lot about the early stages in number one, so I'm gonna skip over that with the exception of a quick little point. And it was that PewDiePie continued on saying that he really didn't care about it, that he really appreciated all of this happening, and who wouldn't, but that he really didn't care until
Your bitch lasagna. Bitch lasagna.
Beach lasagna. The name alone brings me nostalgia. But yeah, PewDiePie did a diss track on T-Series, which was mainly as a joke.
T-Series, they just crying for their mama.
I mean, you can't seriously argue that this music was made to be serious. But it did make the sub gap rise massively, and you can't underestimate the influence of Beach Lasagna. I mean, it's Pew's most viewed video after all. But after all this massive stuff, it's kinda hard talking about the time before Congratulations, because there really didn't happen anything major. I mean, there happened a lot of things like the sub gap getting lower and lower to the difference of only a few thousand. The Super Bowl ad, which didn't happen for reasons I won't get into. The Elon Musk meme review thing and the Markiplier and Jacksepticeye streams, but I won't get into them because they were semi-big things but not big enough. But at one point, T-Series was winning. And at the time had been winning a couple times already, but this time it was different. It seemed like it was permanent. So they changed a few things on their channel, thanking their subscribers for making them the most subscribed channel on YouTube. And PewDiePie congratulated them too, but not in the way you would expect. He released congratulations. And a bit of backstory for this one too. He made it for an earlier time because he thought he would lose earlier, but he didn't, so he had that in store for a while. But when he did release it, it was supposed to be the last thing for the sub to PewDiePie meme. But it made him number one once more, and it was rather hilarious when T-Series had to take down those things that thanked their subscribers for making them the number one most subscribed channel, and which was really fun. And well, it lasted for about a month only, making the sub cap at the peak like 600,000. But in the end, T-Series took the number one position. No one can argue that this didn't change the world of YouTube. I mean, they physically speaking can say that it didn't have an effect, but that's not my point. Oh, and by the way, this is the third part of the three-part thing, so yeah. Back to the video. This changed the world of YouTube and heck, even the whole world. It showed, even though we lost in the end, that we won't let a company-driven YouTube happen without a fight. It brought PewDiePie back to the stage of the world. It ended the dark ages of PewDiePie's career, and it, in the end, led to that perfect week. But that's a video for another day. And in the end, it changed my life forever. It created a community which I felt a part of, where I found new friends and where I found meaning in protecting PewDiePie's number one position. And I have never felt such a connection to a community before in my life. So, Pewds, if you're hearing this, and I know you're not, you're on your vacation and you deserve it, buddy. But if you're hearing this somehow, thank you. You created a community not on purpose, but still, where I was a part of it and where I found meaning. So PewDiePie, Felix Kjellberg, Pewds, whatever you want to call yourself. I'll see you at the billion subscribers and beyond.